You know, somebody asked me the other day, said, well, you were in college in the 60s. I said, yeah. And
Reminder with your mics.
I had no
As
interest.
we're getting ready, we're on live now, so your mics will catch your papers.
We're gonna wait just a minute or two just to see if Bill gets here
Okay.
before we start.
That's fine. We're at least ready.
Randy comes early. Where's that thing? Give it to Bob. Bob? Since Bill's not here, what Bill did last year. Just that we've reviewed it. Yes. There are two different documents on the excess levy and the total budget amount.
We have to log out. Does it throw you to that login page? Tell me, it's tell me.
Why are you scooting away?
I got it.
Why are you scooting away?
You go like this.
Put my legs under.
Oh,
You go
I
like
know.
this.
Well, now I know you're Apple. What, are you guys Apple too? Just you're Apple? Amy? Yeah. Because I'm not. I'm Android and I got right on. So, what we're talking about.
Now, it's let me join now. One of the things I found is you don't let that join page get all the way open before you hit accept. That messes it up too.
Version to read. You get to read them all. But I'm getting you an easier version than both reports.
I turned my wife on twice and you should turn it back on.
It takes a while to get They're waiting a little bit.
Guess who's living with us right now?
Who?
Janice? Oh.
What? I'm not even
We'll
gonna.
have to catch up at break.
Okay.
Trying to make sure it's not going to be permanent, but
Hey, yes.
it's actually kind of fun.
All right, I don't want to delay any longer. So we'll, if everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and get started. Call the August 9th meeting of the DeKalb County Council to order, and we'll begin with an opening prayer by Councilwoman King.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you so much that we have access to you and that you care about every detail of every human being's life. We thank you that you're loving and kind and good and just. We do pray for the county of DeKalb and its citizens, and we pray, Lord, that you would give us wisdom to make the best decisions for everyone involved. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, you all have a copy of the agenda for today, and we'll begin with the additionals and transfers. Amazing, but second meeting in a row, we have no additionals.
How about we back up to the minutes?
We can do that.
Okay, thanks.
We can do that.
Thank you, Susan.
You all have copies of the July 12th meetings minutes. And if we can have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilwoman King. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Now we'll move on to the additionals and transfers. We have no additionals for this meeting, so we do have transfers. And the first transfer comes to us from the clerk's office. And if you give me just a second here. Dear council members, wrong number, wrong one here. Here we go. State Board of Accounts has notified the DeKalb County Auditor that printed forms cannot be paid out of supplies account and must be paid out of the other services and charges account. Therefore, at the DeKalb County Auditor's direction, I am requesting a transfer of funds in order to pay for the printing of various state prescribed forms for the clerk's office. Please transfer $1,500 from 1001.22110 office supplies to 1001.3310 printing services. Respectfully submitted, Holly Albright, Clerk of Courts. I have a motion to approve this transfer. Been moved by Councilwoman Dembski. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Prosser. Discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor of this transfer signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Next transfer comes to us from Sunny Meadows, and this transfer involves two different line items. Can we take these together? Hearing no objections. Please, council, please transfer from account 1001.22250, food supplies, $6,000, and from account 1001.22530, groundskeeping, $2,700 to account 1001.34330, contractual, to finish out the year. Thank you, Don Pearson. Bob, did he talk to you about this? Is what's in contractual that,
Probably his lawn mowing services. I'm trying to think.
all right. You know, this just brings to the forefront, you know, in our additional requests, we have a line where they've talked to their council person. I think we need to get the form together that does the same thing for the transfers to assure that they have talked to their liaison before, when they submit these. So, Susan, I know that is a bad time to throw another job on you, but we,
There.
you know, okay. I think that would go a long way to get things.
Let's see, they have pest control there, they've had some printing done. Sewer, lawn services, salt, yes.
They just
So
did
the
something with
Midwest,
salt, didn't they?
that's a newer. Yeah.
All right, and they're not gonna
So,
run short in
And
any of
then
these other.
they do UniFirst, exchange floor mats. So basically anything that does a service for them. So the floor mat people, the salt, the pest control, fire alarm checks, garbage.
All right, so we know what's in there,
Anything
but
like
is
that.
this, by taking this amount out of food services and groundskeeping, it's not gonna short them at the end of the year? They got enough money in there?
Foods, let's see. Food, they have just under 21,000 left. And groundskeeping, they have, what are they just transferring from groundskeeping? That will deplete that. That one will deplete groundskeeping. And so the other one would be, what I just told you, minus whatever they're transferring.
All right, so
The groundskeeping, it just looks like it was weed killer, annual flowers, something for their annual garden.
okay. Okay,
The only thing I know that he added contractual recently was a dumpster, and that was like $485 or something to empty out some of the stuff in the basement.
but that was a one-time
That's a one-time
shot.
400.
All right, well, it sounds to me like groundskeeping needed to be zeroed out anyway. And taking 6 out of the 21 will still leave an amount, but the possibility might be there that they would need an additional towards the end of the year. But not necessarily, but that, just be aware of the fact that that does exist out there. All right,
I think that he's got other places to transfer.
okay.
He doesn't pay any personnel out of contractual, does he?
All right. Hearing no other, do I have a motion to approve this transfer? Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Comment from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor of this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. The next transfer comes to us from the Change Academy School Fund.
are 3 of them. We can take all these together. All right, dear council members, DeKalb County Community Corrections would like to request the following transfers. Transfer $578 from 4116.11492 Juvenile Program Coordinator to 4116.33410 Liability Insurance. Transfer $3,000 from 4116.11630 Juvenile Program Facilitator to 4116.33410 Liability Insurance. Transfer $5,000 from 4116.12400 Benefits Paid Back to the County to 4116.33410 Liability Insurance. This is the first year that Change Academy has been billed for school leaders' liability insurance from the county, so it was not budgeted for fiscal year 21-22 or 22-23. Respectfully submitted, Michelle Fosnall, Executive Director, DeKalb County Community Corrections. Is that fund come from the schools themselves? Is that where the cash, so this is not DeKalb County tax dollars, but it's paid to us from the school corporations? Okay. All right, can I have a motion to approve this transfer? Motion by Councilwoman King. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Kraft. Council discussion.
I know there was some discussion about, and I don't know if this is the same insurance or not, that they could possibly, the teachers there could possibly have liability coverage by the school since it's a school program, but they weren't covering it, so then the county had to pay this? You remember, is it?
It's called the schools leaders policy or coverage or whatever. As far as I know, we had to keep it.
We had to keep we couldn't get on the school's liability,
Correct.
even though those people are being paid from the school?
But this
As far
fund
as I
comes
know.
from the school. So the
Right.
school's paying this,
Yeah.
just paying it through a third party.
I can ask again.
Who's their liaison here? Something to just ask maybe in the future if we can get, I mean, if we're paying, if they could be covered by the school's insurance that they're already paying, I doubt that it would add anything for those 6 teachers when you got, hundreds and hundreds of teachers across the school district.
I'll send a message.
Mike might be able
Yeah.
to shed some
All
light.
right, comment from the public.
That's been part of the county liability policy for quite some time, and insurance trustees, I think the amount's pretty minimal, but insurance trustees thought that they might be able to get the school systems to cover that because it's basically duplicate. The schools have the same endorsement in their policies too, but there were some quirks somewhere about making that happen between the 3 school systems. So it's staying on the county liability policy and got billed to Change Academy
All right.
as a line item.
With all that being said, now, number one, this is one of those that's still run on a fiscal year, not on calendar year, is the way I'm reading this letter.
Okay, yes, anything to do with the kids, the juvenile is fiscal. I try to run that fund calendar and they just can't get it.
Can't do it.
So
Okay. Of course.
they're doing,
That would make it too easy.
So these juvenile program coordinator, these people are paid, are those teachers paid through community corrections and not through the school? Well, that's why.
Right.
Obviously, they're on our payroll, not the school's payroll. That's why we have to carry the insurance back.
Yeah, the 3 school systems can contribute X number of dollars to Change Academy, but they do not pay the personnel there. That's all community
And-
correction.
And my only point with the question with the fiscal year, because of the way this is worded, we just need to make sure that when we set up the contracts with the schools for the coming budget year, whether that's fiscal or calendar, is that this dollar amount gets included in what they're going to contribute. So. Okay. Any other comments from the public? Any other discussion with the council?
That's the reasoning that I would guess that the insurance company took.
And the money that we're transferring is money that they've paid, the schools have paid in to cover the expenses for the Change Academy. But we do need to make sure that when they do their budget and make their grant request to the schools in the next budget, that they make sure that they include this liability insurance.
Okay, so you want me to explain that all to them, or is Amy explaining it to them?
As far as asking for it next year, both of you can do it. That way we make sure it doesn't
Gee,
get
thanks.
missed.
Okay, I can't promise it'll be
Well,
done
no,
before
you
next
just send
week.
an email to Michelle. We just want to make sure it doesn't get missed, that this gets included. All right. I have a motion, I have a second. Are we finished with discussion on this? All right. All those in favor of this transfer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right. Randy, you're up.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
We've had a interesting month so far. We got bids on the paving and lighting portion of the extension of the runway, which would include that extra 2,000 feet, replacing the that rabbit lighting system that everybody sees on the movies where the lights run toward the runway so the pilots can find it. And lighting down, actually, it will be lighted on the runway once this is done. So that's all included in that package. And that came in at $9.3 million for next year. Most of the grant will cover most of that. We're still looking for a little bit, or we'll have to cut some incidentals out, and move them to the next year. But beyond that, the project is still on track to continue and hopefully have a functional 7,000-foot runway by the end of 2023. The grade and drain portion of the runway extension is working. County Road 29 is gone. They removed all the asphalt, and I understand they're going to redo that intersection. They put up some temporary fencing and stuff, and we've heard or seen no one try to drive through that yet, so we think that's pretty much a done deal at this point. We had 5 applicants for the fixed-to-base operator, our FBO. When you come into the airport and you want to rent an airplane, buy fuel or whatever, the FBO is the person you meet at the desk downstairs in the terminal. Sweet Aviation was one of the 5. We interviewed 2 of the 5. 2 of them, there were questions about their application, and one wanted to just provide us with a management contract where we would pay them, they'd go out and find people, and we'd really be 3 steps in between. Really didn't want that. I think the thing that sold us on Sweet Aviation was Chuck Sirak's motto is do the right thing. And that's really what we're looking for. We want to do the right thing by the community, by the airport, and I think Chuck will bring the stuff we need to the airport to make us the jet port for Northeast Indiana. We're going to have the facilities. We're going to have an operator we believe that will provide the boutique concierge services that are going to be necessary to do that. And well, again, when Chuck came in for his interview, he said, I'm 14 minutes from Fort Wayne. Go to Fort Wayne International, you're 14 minutes from Fort Wayne. I'd rather land here. So, Surac, Sweet Aviation will take over the FBO operation November 1st, if not before. I think there's some negotiation that'll go on between Laura and Tony and Chuck to see when that's actually going to happen. But we're looking forward to that. Our appraiser ended up in the hospital for like 3 weeks, so we're still waiting on the final appraisal on the Meese Chapel property. I've been approached in the public at least a dozen times saying, are you going to tear the church down? No. Unless nobody has any kind of plan to move it. Right now, the plan will be that the church will remain as hopefully short a time as possible. We're anticipating that once Sweet Aviation comes in and we start picking up business, that some new construction as far as hangars and stuff is likely to happen, and that the church is right directly in line with the last group of hangars we put in. So that fence gets moved out, new hangars could go right there and be very convenient, and a nice dovetail into the extended runway. So we're not tearing the church down, but we are going to purchase it. We're just waiting on the appraisal, and we may actually have that at the meeting a week from Friday.
When you say you're not going to tear the church down, the possibility still exists out there in the future if nobody else comes and
Right.
moves it.
Right.
Okay.
And again, Mr. Bry has already been in contact with us a couple times directly to the board that they don't want us to tear the building down the day we take possession, and we're not intending to do that. We certainly would like to give them an opportunity to find the funding or procedure to move that structure. Mr. Bry said it has been there, I believe, 125 or 26 years, and they would like to preserve it. And again, the movement that we've been appraised of would be from where it sits now back down close to the Jackson Township hall and baseball field and Grange Hall and all that that's down
Which
there.
is where they've got the Grange Hall?
Yes.
That they moved?
Yes. So that's where they're talking about. The biggest thing is going to be how long that's going to take would be our only concern. So we really want the property, not the building, and if somebody else wants the building, we'll be more than happy to watch it go down the road all in one piece. All in one piece. The stormwater excavation or rehabilitation, we did let a bid out for DeBerkey Excavation to finish the putting riprap and grading some of the drainage on the airport to make sure that everything drains. We don't have standing water on the property, and really hasn't been so much of an issue other than we had a bunch of erosion around some of the catch basins to the point where they really weren't catching water anymore. And so we're having that finished yet this summer. And then we are going to go ahead and let out a bid for a self-service fuel system with the anticipation of increased traffic at the airport with the sports complex and Sweet Aviation coming in. When I used to fly back in the 80s and 90s, we could pull up to the pump, use a key that was on our aircraft key, pump gas right into the airplane as soon as we were done flying it, and then park it where it was designated to be. Right now, if you're after hours, you've got to call ahead. Somebody's got to come out, bring the fuel truck out to do this. Many airports in the area have a self-service fuel system where they pull up to the pump, use their credit card, fill their aircraft, some of you may know, but when we put aircraft away, we really want the tanks full because as the fuel expands and contracts, it sucks air in and out of the tank. And if it's a day like yesterday when the humidity can be picked up by hand, it sucks that humidity into the tank. It condenses overnight, and now you've got water in the fuel tank, and having your engine stop somewhere over northeast Indiana is not a good thing. So we really would like to get this fueling system moving forward, and we're going to get bids on that to see exactly what the cost is. And then in old business, we're still looking just at the Speedway, their mitigation plan. And also then we're going to talk to the Plan Commission again. I'm not sure personally. They were granted an exemption. It's not that the UDO and the airport overlay has a problem. They were granted an exemption. So we're going to have a discussion on that and talk to the Plan Commission and see if there's something that can make sure something like that doesn't happen in the future. And with that, I'll take any questions. No. Basically, once we have the quotes in hand, we go to the FAA and ask, and then make an application. And right now, the quotes we got came in above the engineer's estimate. So we're going to go with those. We have to go with those because that's all we have right now. By the time the project actually happens, we may get new bids that are lower. We're waiting, but I don't have the exact numbers of what the difference is at this point. The engineer really has a list of punch items that we can do, get the airport continue to operate, and then things like, adding the parallel taxiway, some minor project additions that would be moved back to the 23-24 year. So as far as numbers go, I don't have those, but the majority of the project, the engineering company believes is funded through the existing grants. We also get some money from the state, the Indiana IDOT, Indiana Department of Transportation does provide some funding annually to the airports to make updates and maintenance. So we're looking at what that's going to be for next year as well.
Any other questions for Randy? Hearing none. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next month.
All right. Next are the non-binding reviews. Susan, do you have a paper copy of this? All right, appears what we did last year was I read all of these into the minutes. And I believe then we will need a motion to accept the information. So with that being said, and this Butler Township, fire, $43,874 is the maximum levy. Butler Township civil, $11,702 is the maximum levy. Butler Township tax cap impact is $260. Concord Township fire, $71,435 maximum levy. Concord Township civil, $18,970. Concord Township tax cap impact, $430. Fairfield Township fire, $64,972 max levy. Fairfield Township Civil, $27,411 max levy. Fairfield Township Tax Cap Impact, $370. Franklin Township Fire, $29,186 max levy. Franklin Township Civil, $23,523 max levy. Franklin Township Tax Cap Impact, $230. Grant Township Fire, $56,630 max levy. Grant Township Civil, $56,133 max levy. Grant Township Tax Cap Impact, $3,360. Jackson Township Fire, $36,011. Jackson Township Civil, $45,145. Jackson Township Tax Cap Impact, $360. Kaiser Township Fire, $23,583. Kaiser Township Civil, $7,254. Kaiser Township Tax Cap Impact, $440. Newville Township Civil, $15,126. Newville Township Tax Cap Impact, $100. Richland Township Fire, $9,517. Richland Township Civil, $26,280. Richland Township Tax Cap Impact, $390. Smithfield Township Fire, $28,272. Smithfield Township Civil, $45,858. Smithfield Township Tax Cap Impact, $500. Spencer Township Fire, $75,165. Spencer Township Civil, $21,589. Spencer Township Tax Cap Impact, $460. Stafford Township Fire, $10,404. Stafford Township Civil, $6,132. Stafford Township Tax Cap Impact, $110. Troy Township Fire, $9,627. Troy Township Civil, $5,537. Troy Township Tax Cap Impact, $70. Union Township Civil, $86,293. Union Township Tax Cap Impact, $1,030. Wilmington Township Civil, $63,405. Wilmington Township Tax Cap Impact, $110. Auburn City Civil City Fire, $2,855,370. Auburn Civil City Civil, $4,560,771. Auburn Civil City Tax Cap Impact, $82,090. Garrett Civil City Fire, $413,517. Garrett Civil City Civil, $2,050,817. Garrett Civil City Tax Cap Impact, $74,020. Butler Civil City Fire, $288,296. Butler Civil City Civil, $1,377,451. Butler Civil City Tax Cap Impact, $10,130. Altona Civil City Civil, $33,176. Altona Civil Tax Cap Impact, $370. Ashley Civil Town Civil, $737,170. Ashley Civil Tax Cap Impact, $5,210. Corona Civil Town Civil, $105,763. Corona Civil Town Tax Cap Impact, $7,240. St. Joe Civil Town Civil, $117,234. St. Joe Civil Town Tax Cap Impact, $2,230. Waterloo Civil Town Civil, $1,242,813. Waterloo Civil Town Tax Cap Impact, $156,970. DeKalb County Eastern School, $4,999,233. DeKalb County Eastern Tax Cap Impact, $16,530. Garrett Kaiser Butler School, $2,619,988. Garrett Kaiser Butler Tax Cap Impact, $80,580. DeKalb Central School, $7,982,114. DeKalb Central Tax Cap Impact, $158,590. Auburn Eckert Library, $1,066,888. Auburn Eckert Tax Cap Impact, $11,540. Butler Carnegie Library, $256,949. Butler Carnegie Tax Cap Impact, $1,770. Garrett Public Library, $670,337. Garrett Library Tax Cap Impact, $13,620. Waterloo Public Library, $290,590. Waterloo Library Tax Cap Impact, $20,200. DeKalb County Airport Authority, $902,880. DeKalb Airport Authority Tax Cap Impact, $8,940. I have a motion to approve the review of the fire, civil, and tax cap amounts provided to us by the DLGF.
This would be a maximum levy. This is 2023.
I have a motion, can I have a second? The person that's given the second has to repeat what Bob just said.
The copies of this and meeting minutes will be distributed to each unit.
Can I have a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Discussion? You know, I wish I could, Amy. Honestly, and I will tell you that the Indiana County Council Association has addressed this with the Indiana legislature on several occasions as being it's a motion or an action that we take that we have really no control over. We can't do anything about the numbers that have been provided to us. It's just that this council, as the county council, has to acknowledge the fact that we've received it. We can't change it. We can't do anything with it. We've just got to acknowledge that we've received it. These are all numbers that have been provided by these individual taxing units, whether they be townships, cities, towns, or the libraries, or the schools.
And it's everything that they provide to DLGF, and then DLGF
Sends it all out.
compiles all the information and decides that these are the numbers that we need to review. But then even after that, DLGF still decides whether they can fund their budget or not.
And I
Sure,
think
so I guess what I'm asking is just, how does it affect the people out in the community, right? What are these numbers? Are they, just explain what the numbers are. I understand that we don't have any control over them.
The
but-
numbers are, it's the amount that they could raise, it's the maximum amount they could raise for their taxing unit to be included in their budget.
Gotcha, yeah. And that's the. that's
tax
what it is, yes.
cap, the tax cap liability is the potential that will be reduced from that amount because that particular taxpayer is over his tax cap, his or her tax cap.
So on their tax bills, they see the property tax credits. Most people won't be able to follow it through because it comes in with what you raise to come in, and then you see the credit effects on your tax bill. So it's a very complicated process, but that's.
Sure. I think one of the great things that we've talked about here is that with the ability to stream to the community, a lot of times we've said here, it's very hard for the community to understand what we're doing. And so with the opportunity that we now have to say, okay, this is what these numbers are, I think it's a great opportunity for us to do that then, to explain. And just like you said, Rick, we don't have any control over it. This is just the numbers that we've been provided. And again, that's a great way to be transparent with the community, to say, we don't have control over this. This is a state thing.
It is a second or third opportunity for the taxpayer to find out what these numbers are for the taxing unit that they live in. Initially, a number of years ago, this process was started with the intent for the county council to control what the total tax bill was to any taxpayer in their jurisdiction. And as you can imagine, it fell apart immediately after they put this together. Because they didn't want a particular, if you live in an area where there are 3 different taxing units that cover you, they didn't want one having an advantage over the other, bringing you up to the tax cap. And when they started to debate that, then the thing just fell apart, because the losers, if you lived in an area that where you were covered by 3 or 4 different taxing units, and the loser taxing units, because somebody claimed a lot of tax revenue, started to hit the legislature up. No, you can't do that. No, so it's just, now it's just a review process. We will have one opportunity to affect somebody's budget, a township's budget, when we do our reviews of our own budget in September. Because on a township advisory board, if the member is related to the trustee or a member of the fire department, they are not allowed to vote on the budget for that particular township. So if a township has a township board that has 2 or 3 members that are qualified in that way, that budget has to come to the county council to be approved. Now, we can't change it, but we have to approve it. So.
Good information. Thanks.
Revenue, do they get one of these for?
Well, we cover Ashley, Steuben covers Hamilton.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that this number for Ashley is the full town budget, which would be that portion that's in Steuben County. But I didn't see anything for Hamilton in there.
I can't.
What's that, Donna? Yes, they go to DeKalb.
I have a note for myself, just because this comes up and I never remember. So I have a note in the minutes from last year that I said the DLGF does not provide DeKalb County with reports for Hamilton Civil Town, Hamilton Schools, and the Northeast Solid Waste District. These taxing units are located in both DeKalb and Steuben, but since the larger of the AV for these units is located in Steuben, Steuben County does their non-binding reviews. Right.
Right. And that split, it happens in a number of areas where we do anything involving Ashley, and Steuben County does anything involving Hamilton. All right. Do I have a motion and a second on this?
Yes.
All right, I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any comment from the public? Further comments from the council? And all those in favor of this motion, accepting the Non-binding reviews signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried.
And for everyone viewing, like Amy had said, all of that is able to be found on DLGF's website, everything. That's literally where I go to pull the reports and provide them to you all.
And again, that's one of the things that the County Council Association is trying to get dropped. If we don't have anything we can do with it, why are we spending time with it? All right, moving on. Next item is the ordinance that renews our membership in the Northeast Indiana Regional Development Authority. This is ordinance 2022-OCC-5. There were some questions about this last meeting. We did pass it on the first reading. I did find out after that meeting that, the information was lost. Well, it ended up in Anton King's junk file, which happened at several of the counties because I knew about it because Allen County Council's attorney actually notified me of it and got it started. So I ran into Anton actually right after our meeting last month, who said he apologized because he found it in his junk file. So anyway, Anton, there were questions last meeting as to what the authority actually does and how many are in it now. The ordinance that we have does allow us to join or keep our membership, but also has us removing ourselves at any time with no penalty.
So the RDA is governed by I believe a 5-member board of the Regional Development Authority. And what the Regional Development Authority, in my knowledge, was created with the Regional Cities Program a handful of years ago as part of basically being able to receive funds from a state or federal level on behalf of the Northeast Indiana region, and then be able to disperse those funds into projects to the members of the RDA. And so there's no cost associated from the county's standpoint of being affiliated with the RDA. Just being a member of the Regional Development Authority for the Northeast Indiana region allows really a seat at the table to be able to apply for funds. So this time around is the pertinent program, if you will, is the READY program that was put out by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, which was, I believe, a $500 million grant program put out by the IEDC, and then allows regions to self-identify, if you will. So naturally in Northeast Indiana, the 11-county region came together as we already had the RDA's infrastructure in place from being able to successfully deploy the regional cities funds. So the RDA applied to the IEDC. They had a growing with vision plan, if you will, which was over 100 projects throughout the region that were kind of put together in a portfolio, applied to the IEDC for that, in which the region received $50 million, which was the maximum allotment per region. So the RDA now has $50 million to release into projects as part of the READY proposal. And so with that, kind of the first go around within the READY project or READY program, DeKalb County had 9 projects that submitted into the READY proposal for that. And so as for those projects to be eligible to receive funding, membership to the Regional Development Authority is key in being able to receive those funds. Should DeKalb County choose not to participate in that, we would not be eligible, those projects would not be eligible to receive funding in the RDA because they wouldn't be a member at that point. So, but again, no cost associated with being with the RDA. It's just really just authorizing as being part of that region. But for some context as well, with like the region, if you're curious of what the Regional Cities Program did, DeKalb County did have a project that was supported through the Regional Cities Program, where the YMCA received support in their project for the soccer complex that you see out there. So we did see a successful project the first time around, and then we continue to work with the current applicants for the READY proposal on that. So hopefully that we'll see 1 or 2 projects here in DeKalb County be selected for funding through the RDA. But that really starts with the adoption of renewing the membership to the RDA, so those projects can receive funding for that.
Anton, were those ready grants being directed to specific types of issues?
Yeah,
Was that a restriction, or they narrowed the focus from previously?
Yeah, so the Ready altogether, the kind of the key themes because it was put out through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, really the key focus was focused on, I guess, 3 key issues of growing workforce population, which can include, housing, employment training, Industry 4.0, and then supporting entrepreneurship and innovation and downtown vibrancy. And so if those projects kind of meet that criteria, then they are eligible for funding pending the RDA's approval status. In that, because they are ready funds, which really are coming from ARPA funds from the federal level, there's a lot of regulations in place that meet that requirement. So such things as infrastructure and basically what ARPA dollars can qualify for is a key element in that funding avenue. So we're not to muddy the waters again, but the Regional Cities project was more of kind of like, here's funding that we have allotted for projects we want to support. The ready ones have a lot more, they have to meet a lot more criteria based on the ARPA guidelines, but they're still trying to figure out ways to make it so that they can support aspects of projects altogether. But yeah, it's because it's coming from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, it's focused on growing workforce population, kind of meeting that criteria, supporting entrepreneurship and innovation, and then downtown vibrancy as well. So.
And who are the members?
So the members, as far as counties or individuals?
Well, counties.
Right now, all the counties are in the process of renewing it. I have not heard of any counties not renewing their membership into the RDA. So that's either, I know a multitude of counties have already done that or are currently going through it right now.
So, but it's Allen County,
Yep.
DeKalb County, and...
Steuben, LaGrange, DeKalb, Noble, Kosciuszko, Wabash, Huntington, Wells, Adams, and Allen. In Whitley County, yes.
So that's typically the whole northeast
Yeah.
Indiana that normally is associated with those
Correct.
things. Okay.
Yep. Identified as the 11 county region. Yep. So.
Okay. All right.
I have a question. You said it's governed by a 5-member board. How are those board members selected, and are they paid, and by who?
They're not paid.
Okay.
To my knowledge. How are they selected? Frankly, I'm not 100% sure. To be honest, I don't know. I could find that out, but I'm not 100% sure.
I thought our representatives were appointed by the commissioners, but
It could be.
That's
It could be.
generally the way something like that would be done. I know that our one representative from DeKalb County is Jeff Turner.
Correct.
Because Jeff was actually the chairman of the group. So,
Correct.
Mike, do you know?
I can tell you.
Oh, Susan can tell us.
I'm looking at it right now. I think they do. I don't know. Back at you, Mike.
Okay. All right. Any other questions about this?
So because I am just curious about, so is this a state project, or, I guess I'm confused as, where are the dollars coming from? If it doesn't cost us to join, then are they just helping us find the grants and those kind of things, or are they supplying that money for those grants?
So the fund, it was part of the American Rescue Relief, ARPA, the ARPA dollars that came from the federal government. And a portion of that Indiana received was allocated for economic development purposes. And that portion of that was then dispersed out through the READY program, which I could tell you what the acronym of READY stands for, but I'd have to look it up too. But so those funds are coming directly. They are ARPA funds that are being utilized from the federal government that are being utilized by the state. And so then the state released those funds through the IEDC for regional development authorities to apply, basically put together portfolios of projects that could be, that they could use those READY dollars for to put forward. So the project itself is the READY program that was put out by the IEDC. But again, those dollars are coming from the federal government in that aspect.
It is a state program encouraging regional development. And in our case, I believe that we are one of the larger groups. Other regional development authorities are 2 and 3 counties, where ours is basically, I think, if that's the typical Northeast Indiana, it's about 11 counties that have been working together.
So it's a state program. I'm sorry, I'm just asking
No,
a lot of
you're
questions. 'Cause
fine.
I just,
No, you're good.
this is really
That's what
kind of
we're
new
here
to
for.
me, and
Yeah,
and I think it's a good practice to let our community know.
Absolutely.
So it's a state program that has funding available, not just through ARPA though, right? Because we've been doing this for a while. We've been in the program for a while, and ARPA funds are new. So it's more than just the ARPA funding. Is it federal funding then that you're saying, or is it state funding? And in order to get the grants, we have to be a member?
So
Just trying to clarify.
the funding is federal funding, and a portion of what the state received from a federal funding aspect of those ARPA funds, the state decided to create the READY program so they can disperse those funds into projects on the local level.
Okay.
But they required project owners, if you will, or regions to self-identify themselves to promote regional development, regional economic development together. So it wasn't pinning one county versus the other. It was trying to have a regional identity. And through that process, so that thus made regions come together and build a portfolio of projects. And because, we are right in the heart of Northeast Indiana, being close to Allen County, and we had successfully deployed the first regional economic development initiative of Regional Cities program through the Regional Development Authority. In the past, we already had the infrastructure in place to utilize the Regional Development Authority for this program. But again, it's federal dollars given to the state. The state decided to take a portion of those funds and invest those into regional projects. And the RDA allows us, if we're a member, to then be a part of that and have a chance at those funds. And not to get in the weeds on it, but so the $50 million that the region received as part of the RDA, and if, DeKalb County continues to be a member of that, the match percentage on a project is 20%, and it's the last dollar in. So it requires these project owners to have all their funding in line, have local support in that process, and then they are asking for up to 20% of their total project costs through the READY program. So really, if they're, if we got $50 million for the region, what is that, 200, really leveraging, let's say $250 million of private investment into that. So again, just trying to be able to get some of these projects across the finish line by utilizing that federal program.
Why do we have to be a member?
Bottom line is, Amy,
What's
bottom line is, if we're not in this program,
Yeah.
we are not eligible for any of that money.
Yeah, and I guess that was my question, is why? What is the benefit, what is driving the idea behind you have to be a member in order to get the federal dollars that are actually taxpayers' dollars?
Because they want to encourage regional development.
Okay. And what's but why why regional development versus just county development, and why do we have to?
Because
I
what
guess,
we do
can't the
here-
county, I guess, the confusion is why does the federal and state have to tell us as a region, hey, we all have to join together as members in order to get the dollars? They're already taxpayer dollars, so.
But what we
why
do
not?
here
Yeah.
affects what happens in Steuben County, Noble County, and Allen County.
Sure.
And that's why, working together. Working together is the bottom line.
So they have that's why they call themselves the authority, because they get to push the dollars and, well, that's just
Some
interesting.
name
Okay.
that somebody down the state came up with. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a big deal.
So do we have to commit to, 7, 8 years?
No, we can
we
pull out
just-
at any time.
So we can change this to just 1 year membership?
If you want this same debate every year, you can.
Maybe, because I guess my thought
But you
is
can
is
still
that.
pull out at any time.
A lot of the projects, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anton, a lot of the projects look in certain, and if we don't necessarily have a site here in maybe Steuben or all of those economic development, like Anton. So it doesn't go to.
Having been a part of the regional cities process, I mean, I think it's just a control, the way the state controls that funds and accountability all the way down. I mean, if you didn't have the county, because we had to get certain local government match and buy-in, we had to have a lot of different support letters, and then there's accountability afterwards. They don't pay you up front, they pay you at the end. And so it's a structure that creates a lot of accountability for those grants so that they're not just giving them away kind of willy-nilly. I think I felt like it was a high accountability.
And it also encourages that private investment.
Right.
This is-
You're getting 90 or 80 or
You don't want
90%
it to
private.
all be government tax money.
Right.
I guess it just seems counterintuitive. We've many a times have complained about the state, right, and the control that they have, but then we are here talking about another state program then that is an authority over the development of our region. So I don't know, it just seems counterintuitive. I'm trying to figure that out, so.
I don't think it would prevent us from doing any other kind of development on our own.
But we don't,
It's just
right?
if we want to,
But we don't.
Well, you don't have the money.
yeah, if you had an extra 100 million somewhere that we could get, but this is extra money that the state's doling out, and you
Yeah.
have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
In order, you got to
State's
sign up
doling
if
it
you
out.
want to get their money.
That kind of money that's
Just as,
involved, only gonna be in.
Allen County will get probably 50% of the 50 million. They've told us that, and the rest will be doled out throughout the rural counties.
Because the objective is the growth, is that right? Is that the objective is and I think the other piece of that was that is that the road to 1 million? Is that also part of that? Is
That
that
was
what
the
we're
first
doing?
one.
The first of that.
Okay.
Was part of it.
So that's also part of kind of where we're driving to, is that 1 million
Within the region.
within the region? Yeah, not DeKalb County. Yeah, 1 million by 2030, I think I read, so I'm trying to
And
keep
this
up
is
on
more
that. So.
new developments, not.
correct. And just,
Okay,
just from the standpoint of, as a member of the Regional Mayors and Commissioners Caucus, 11 counties and the associated municipalities have a much larger and more influential voice than an individual county or individual city when it comes to requesting funding or putting projects together. And this is about getting a bigger share of our tax dollars back to the region. And just, for instance, one of the initiatives Northwest region, the Lake County area has been getting $10 million every year as a line item that funnels through the RDA there. One of the goals for the Northeast region is to get that line item added to the Region 3 as part of the tax money that we're sending in Indianapolis or DC back for use in our region. So having that combined voice is a lot more influential.
And what are some of the projects then that you guys have been kind of focused on?
So we had a handful of projects that were, as it pertains to the READY program.
Okay.
Pull it up. So actually, altogether, we've had projects that involved downtown redevelopment, and I say redevelopment more. There's a specific project on a handful of aspects of, particularly in downtown Auburn, that have applied for funding there. The pursuit of gaining funding to support broadband build out countywide was a project that was put in. Trail system for the county was put in. Further developing the J. Cruz Center for Education was a project that was submitted through the READY process. Trying to start basically a housing catalyst fund was submitted. And again, these are all submitted by individual project owners, right? So like not myself, but individual project owners. One of the museums applied for a campus renovation project. We had a couple of the municipalities submitted for water or sewer expansion projects as well. So we really saw project submittals as part of the READY process across the county from that aspect in different facets, right? Kind of hitting on all three focuses areas of growing, population growth, workforce housing, entrepreneurship, innovation, those types of activities. So they're really across the board from project interest through that. But again, to Commissioner Watson's point too, is the membership in the RDA, while this program currently is the READY program, they also could receive, they would have the ability to seek funds and other avenues that they could disperse into the membership counties too. So it's not solely just for the READY program, but the membership in the RDA could allow for, if they're able to acquire other funds for development purposes, if we're a member of that group, we would have access to those funds. So it's a way to get capital back into our region, and in our case, back into DeKalb County.
Any other questions about this? All right.
Thank you.
I don't have a
Thanks,
motion
Anton.
yet, do
I
I?
appreciate it.
I haven't even read it yet, have I?
You read it last time on the
Yeah, I'm going to read it by title only this time. DeKalb County Council Ordinance Number 2022-OCC-5, an ordinance committing DeKalb County, Indiana to an additional 8 years as a member of the Northeast Indiana Regional Development Authority, or in the alternative, joining the Northeast Indiana Regional Development Authority. And I have a motion to approve on second and third readings, ordinance number 2022-OCC-5. Been moved by Councilwoman Dembski,
I'll second it.
second by Councilman Kraft. Further discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Aye. And I just let me preface that I'm not against the idea, but I just feel like I just want to investigate it more so I have a better understanding of what it is. And it isn't that, Anton, you haven't explained it, but just some more questions that I have, so.
And motion passes 5-1. Okay, with that, next is acknowledge the receipt of the sheriff's January through June 2022 commissary report. You should have all had a copy of that with your packets. And Can I have a motion to accept that commissary report? Been moved by Councilman Kraft. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Yard. Council discussion? Thank you, Anton. Council discussion? Comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion is carried. Next on the agenda is the council commissioners' discussion. Is there any topics needing discussion, Mike?
Quick update, I guess, on the highway department situation. We had a number of statutory things to do to get the bot program in place to be able to furnish you all with the appropriate numbers, and we have accomplished that. Passed the resolution and approved the RFPQ language yesterday. That'll be advertised on the 12th and the 19th with the RFPQs due on the 29th. So if we'll have numbers for you at the next council meeting.
All right, so September.
Yeah. Of course, you want some more stuff piled on during budget
Okay, well, I know
discussions.
on the agenda, when Jeff Peters is here, I did put in the build, operate, transfer issue with Jeff, just so that he could more or less explain to us what that build, operate, transfer option is. He did want to make it clear to us that he was limited in what he could tell us because several of the specifics or questions that the council may have need to come from the actual party chosen to do the build, operate, transfer. He would not be able to answer those questions. But as a general overview, he can let us know what the build, operate, transfer option is. So.
Only other thing on my list is because the clock is running, we will need to revisit the ARPA plan. In an ideal world, that would be available for your discussion at the next council meeting. Also, since we've had some changes in the highway department funding and so forth, there are a couple, and if that doesn't happen, there are a couple of projects that I think are pretty well set. One of those is the funds that we had committed to the volunteer fire departments. So if we're not able to consider the entire ARPA plan at the next council meeting, I may bring you a request to approve one or two pieces of it. And I know that's really not where you want to go with that, but the volunteer fire departments in particular have some needs that funding would satisfy for them. So
I think that no matter what direction the ARPA budget goes, I think that is one that's solid, pretty solid in there. I told you before, I didn't want to consider a lot of this stuff piecemeal, but really can't make a decision about the ARPA budget until we know about the highway garage, because that's a big issue hanging out there. But with the fire departments being pretty solid, that piece being pretty solid, I think we can address that next time.
The other pieces of that may need to be, whether it's actually voted on, but thought about, are the two pieces that was in there for IT, what was it?
the Spillman server.
Server and
Yeah.
switches or something?
Yeah, there were, there's-
Because that will affect.
Budget?
Right, it's gonna affect, right now, he's trying to pay for it, we're trying to pay for it out of Hume Cap, but that's going low, and so that's gonna affect some decisions that you guys have to make pretty soon here with the budgets.
Yeah, and again,
And that's not a lot. I mean,
No, the
What,
Stillman server was 88,000.
I was gonna say around 160,000 or so.
I don't think it was quite that much. But anyway, thanks for
Well,
reminding
as
me of
long as
that.
we can, I don't think September's too late. If we can have some decisions made, and it looks like we're gonna have some opportunity to decide about this highway garage between now and then, that's a good idea. David's got something he'd like to say.
Question you may not be able to answer. I had a lot of people inquiring
Me too.
about an interesting project to say the least.
It is.
The question is, we own the property for the new proposed site.
Right.
6 County Day.
Yeah,
The question I've heard from several people, when a developer is chosen, are they going to take possession of the title for financing?
no,
They will not. The county will keep
no,
the title.
yeah, we've pulled the real estate and the architectural and engineering that we have already done out of the bot proposal. So that will have no effect.
Okay, so the person that's going to develop then will have to secure their own financing and come up with their own collateral, so to speak, then it won't be
Yes.
the land.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, well, the land is completely, completely removed from the project, as is the, all the work that Elevatus has done and Foresight Engineering on the site plan and the civil engineering part. That's all removed. So the bid will not include that.
All right, any other
Anything
questions
else?
for well, do you have something, Amy? Okay. I do have one question. I read a number of articles in the paper in different areas about broadband and different groups getting involved in expanding broadband. Mostly the REMCs and what was it, LigTel was the last one I read. Is any of that moving into DeKalb County?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. The broadband initiative group has resumed some meetings, trying to move that situation forward and secure some additional funding. The Noble County and Steuben County REMCs have about 1,200 addresses in DeKalb County that they serve. They're not interested in pushing broadband past their current customer base. They're not interested in
Okay,
expanding
but they
their
still have
presence.
1,200 in DeKalb County that
Right, and
could
they would
go
like to serve those 1,200 addresses with broadband, and they're not going to, they'll contract that out.
Mhm.
But there is some active movement on fiber to the premises to the rest of DeKalb County. There's a new round of Okra grants coming up. There's about $700 million in broadband funds are going to coming available through the feds, and a lot of that will trickle down and be dispersed through Okra grants. So in short, we're making quite a bit of progress, I think. So I think we'll see that moving forward. It's a really big deal. I get calls about that all the time.
Especially for those companies serving those 1,200 clients. If there is any equipment that they're needing to bring in that would be subject to personal property tax, I would encourage them to get with Anton or get with the commissioners and see if tax abatement would not be appropriate. Anything we can do to encourage that broadband expansion in the rural areas, I mean, I'm sure that the council is willing to consider.
Yep, great. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I've told the story before, Amy. I was sitting in a meeting in Indianapolis of people from across the county, and we were talking broadband, and somebody stood up in the back of the room and said she had just lost a sale in DeKalb County, but they had actually bought something in Noble County because broadband was available, and it was not in DeKalb County. And, you know, I want to make sure that we can stop that as much as possible.
Yeah, there's, the ag community is very concerned about broadband expansion into the rural areas, and so is the healthcare community.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
Anything else?
All right, anything else for Mike? All right. We have one last item before we take a break, and that is a
Good copies. I made 2 good copies for you to sign.
All right. This is a resolution honoring Janelle Graber and her retirement from the Auburn Eckhart Public Library. DeKalb County Council Resolution Number 2022-RCC-6 dated August 9th, 2022, an ordinance honoring Janelle Graber as a result of her retirement as director of the Eckhart Public Library. Whereas Janelle H. Graber has served as director of the Eckhart Public Library for 30 years, whereas Janelle H. Graber has demonstrated extraordinary leadership in providing library services to the community, whereas Janelle H. Graber has overseen 2 major construction projects of the Eckhart Public Library while maintaining the historical integrity of its facilities, whereas Janelle H. Graber has been instrumental in the expansion of the library campus to include the Willinar Genealogy Center, an administrative annex, and the teen library, and whereas the DeKalb County Council wishes to honor Janelle H. Graber for her significant accomplishments and service to the community, it is hereby resolved by the DeKalb County Council that this resolution honoring Janelle H. Graber shall be spread of record in the permanent records of the DeKalb County Council as a permanent reminder of Janelle H. Graber's accomplishments and leadership, dated August 9th, 2020. I have a motion to approve this resolution. Moved by Councilman Yard. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Dembski. Discussion? Comment from the public?
Incredible work for our library over the years. I really, really appreciate her. We owe her a debt of gratitude for her committing her life to this. A lot of people don't realize she probably didn't need to do that job, but she's been fully and wholly committed to it for many, many years.
And the and the stress of having to work the library through its major fire and being able to restore the library after that fire, it was just a great accomplishment. All right, I have a motion, I have a second. Comment from public, discussion from the council. Hearing none, all those in favor of this motion, this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same. That motion is carried. All right, with that, we're going to take a short break. We are running a little bit behind, but we'll come back at, let's take 10 minutes. We'll come back at 10 after 10 and have our discussion with our fiscal advisor. So we're in recess.
When you're signing the resolution just read, I have 2 good copies so that we can give one to Janelle.